What's going up, guys? How you doing? George_19 here. That's such a mouthful. Let's be serious now. What's going up, guys? George_19 here, aka Jordan. Oh, for some time, I have been thinking of wanting to do a script, and it's only now where I thought, you know what? If we're gonna write a script, why don't we do a video on it to proper motivate myself into wanting to do that idea more? So, when it comes to writing a script, there's always so many things that you have to keep in mind. Who your characters are, how many characters are going to be in the story, is it just going to be one, is it going to be five? The plot, what's the destination now and what's the destination that they're going to be in at the end? Is it going to be a short story, is it going to be a long story? Stuff like that you have to always keep in mind. And sometimes, when you're thinking of all of those things at once, you can get lost in a massive jungle of pathways. You're trying to figure out what pathway to go down. But always, like in a jungle, there's always the path that will end up being a disaster. And there's always the genre. Once you've figured out your genre for your idea, you have to try and keep to that genre. For example, if you're doing a rom-com, a romance comedy, obviously you're going to have to make it about lovey-dovey, but also get some of that comedy in. And nowadays, with comedy, it's all very not comedy. It's not funny anymore. Nothing's funny anymore because there are so many woke people out there. Which, when it comes to writing a script, you kind of have to forget about the woke people. As a scriptwriter, you have to make that hard decision that will end up making rivals with the audience. A good scriptwriter always does that. A good scriptwriter, again, also, takes in what the audience says.
Maybe could do this instead.
But to you, if it sounds stupid, you don't do it. Anyway, so, the idea that I sort of have, I wouldn't say I came up with the idea a couple of weeks back. I mean, I did, but I haven't done the idea yet. This video is just sort of something as it's a background point. So, with an idea, you always got to do research beforehand, always, which is what I've been doing. I've been looking at YouTube videos on scripts and dialogue, how can I make dialogue more better? How can I make a script just seem people want to claw in more? People want to just dive in more and see what's at the end. I was looking at this video and it was on about a process of questions that you always have to ask yourself when you're writing a script. Number one, who's the main character? What do they want? How did they get it? Why does that not work? Why can't they get it? How does it end? So that is essentially what we're going to do now. We have to think of this idea. So we're going to start up with our document here. We'll call it Idea Doc. We'll call it an Idea Doc. What we need to figure out first is we need to figure out the story. I'm just going to write a story and hopefully it does what I want. And turns it off. He decides to go back to sleep. Now that tells us he's a lazy person. He's a lazy character. Go to the beach? No. He decides to go back to sleep. So that tells us he's a lazy person. He just wants some extra sleep time, because it could either be too early or too late. We don't know the time frame yet. Okay, in a seemingly untidy bedroom, need a Commodore, home to a desk of books and a computer, we see a lad sleeping in a bed. An alarm breaks the silence, waking the lad up. The lad sees the alarm and turns it off. He decides to go back to sleep. After a couple of hours of sleep, the lad finally wakes up. He walks out of the room and goes to the bedroom. He goes to the bathroom to brush his teeth and have a wash. And that's the beginning of it done. But further down the line, we could add more stuff to this. For example, here, he walks out of the room. Before that, we could say, the lad throws the covers, throws the blanket off of himself in a zombified manner. But in my head with zombified manner, it's like you're not putting any effort into it. You're not putting any effort into wanting to get out of bed. You're not putting any effort into it. And that's one of the things that you gotta also do as well when you're writing a script. Think of more creative ways to describe a scene instead of just being very basic, like he takes the blanket off of himself. Like, that is good, but to make the viewer more involved, or to make the reader more involved, make it have some pizzazz. People know that zombies, they don't put much effort into it. They don't put much effort into things. It's very lazy. And that's who this lad is. We don't even know the name of this lad yet, so we'll go to that. Let's go with Ron. An average lad by the name of Ron. Yeah, that's decent. That is a decent start to this idea. That's a decent beginning. So now we've figured out our beginning scene. We've figured out who this character is. We've figured out, his attitude, to waking up. But we don't know his attitude in the middle of the day. We could just have it where it carries on from him brushing his teeth and having a wash, or we could cut it into a different scene. But as we all know, this is just a story. This isn't a script yet. I will be writing the script sometime in the future, but not yet. I need to still figure out the idea. So I'm going to stop this and get writing the idea. We have now finished our story. To me, it seems really good. So, basically, what it's about is someone who's just bored all the time, can't be bothered doing anything. Every time he gets asked to do something, he says no, he doesn't want to. But then, a few moments later, he'll end up doing that thing that he didn't want to do. For example, his sister or friend would send him a message saying, "Can you make me something to eat?" But then the lad just responds, "No, do it yourself." A few moments pass. He's in the kitchen making something to eat. Or it's something like where the sister or friend, "Do you want to go out on a walk?" The lad says, "No, go by yourself." A few moments later, he's seen going on the walk up on the mirrors or something. And then there'd be another message from his dad maybe, "Can you go to the shop for me?" He's like, "No, I don't want to." A few moments later, he's seen in the shop buying something for his dad. And in that shop, another message pops up from a sister or friend saying, do you want to make a meal together?" Then the lad messages back saying, "You know what? Yeah, I will do." But after the lad has bought whatever his dad wanted and starts walking back, he gets another message from his sister or friend saying, "You know what? I'm not hungry anymore. Why don't we just wait till next time?" And then it just ends. So basically, that in my head, the main synopsis of this film is, in a basic maybe somewhere down the line I'll figure out what the synopsis is. This is the story that I'm going to be writing into a script. I'm probably going to be releasing this script onto my Patreon, which I have a Patreon now. Yes! Patreon link is in the description. I'm still figuring out how to do everything. I guess like that is the end of this video for now. For now, this might be just a part 1. You know, maybe a part 2 is actually writing the script. So, I will see you later. Bye!